Hi there, Chad Burton here, continuing our series on how law firms can, adjust to a remote environment in light of the current pandemic. We've talked about technology. We've talked about different ways you can work remote. One of the themes that I've mentioned is that communication is going to be key to this. Obviously for your clients, it's important, but also it's going to be really important for purposes of how you get your law firm's team through this crisis in an effective way. And I've been having this conversation over and over again, and I think the people part is what's missing, because we're all going through chaos right now. Everybody's trying to figure out how their life is changing and what it means. And firms are making the call to close and to send everybody off to their home to get set up. Whether there's adequate warning or it's being done very quick because of somebody's sick in the office, whatever it is, those decisions are being made. The key thing through this is to constantly support your team. You as the law firm owner or your management of your team, however it's structured, is going to be really needs to be really honed in on this topic. Are you giving your team enough attention? It is not going to be okay to send people to their homes and communicate via email or chat, whatever we talk about, and leave it at that. You're going to have to step up your game on how you interact with your team. In fact, we're recommending to firms, and have been doing this now for several days, that as you go remote, set up a daily meeting with your entire team. In a previous video, I talked about using Zoom for video conferencing. Set up a daily video conference. Maybe it's 15 minutes, maybe set aside a half an hour, and give everyone a chance to see each other. Depending upon the size of your firm, maybe that's not practical, but you can break it down in smaller teams if you have practice groups or however your team is divided up. But you want to get as many people on together as possible, because right now they're freaking out. They may not voice it, but they're freaking out, because especially for people that have never worked from home. Remember, not every firm is equipped for this, or if they are, there's many people within a law firm's team that has an on-site office and a traditional office space. Many of those people don't work from home. If they're off, they're off. They do their work during the day and they go home and leave it behind. Or it's super occasional, so they're not used to it. Even firms may have a team member that works from home one time a week, maybe once a week. Fine, you think that they may be used to it, but there's a big difference between once a week and occasional and all of a sudden being stuck in your house, especially for those cities that are currently under the shelter orders, and there'll be more of those. So people aren't used to being stuck, and they're stuck around family members too. Even if they like their spouse and they like their kids, they're not used to being around them 24/7. And that's happening for a lot of people. And we're expecting them to work and be at their best. So right now, communicating and making people feel comfortable as much as possible through this process is up to you as a law firm owner. Daily meetings will be super helpful for the next couple weeks. Set aside 15, 30 minutes for this, and just open it up for people to ask questions, because they have them. And that's going to be really important for them to have peace of mind. And if you implement chat tools like Microsoft Teams or Slack, that can be supplemented throughout the day. So really hone in on your people and make them feel comfortable. A lot of people put their thought and their value of work with FaceTime in the office or what they're doing in the office, and that's gone now, and that's going to be a mental adjustment for people. Another thing to think about is that leading by example. There's actually, this has been some repeat behavior with firms that are just getting used to this, where they send everybody home, but maybe a couple people keep coming to the office because they think it's okay. Well, what happens when leadership comes into the office, others follow. And that defeats the whole purpose of this whole social distancing issue and to try to flatten the curve. So you need to do this as well, even if you find it painful, so that the rest of your team sees that. Another way of helping through this process, if you're not already doing it, is holding a longer weekly team meeting. You're gonna have time. Oftentimes I hear objections from firms on weekly team meetings at a set time because, well, people have court and this and that. Well, guess what? That has opened up. So courts are closing, trials are canceled. So you're going to be able to find a time a week where everybody can get together on video conference for a longer team meeting. This is an opportunity for you to check in with everyone, opportunity to give people praise for how well they're doing, look at new clients that are coming in, because that's a concern, and we'll cover that on several videos on business development and dealing with intake here during the pandemic. But look at what's coming in. Talk about any local issues that are happening with the courts. Clients that are coming in that may need special attention. This is a time for the whole team to check in, and again, promote that sense of unity. The last set of meetings that you can do, and trust me, we're not meeting heavy type people, but now is the time to do it, and these are meaningful and they'll make a difference. So the last one we're going to talk about is the idea of one-on-one meetings. We've been talking about group meetings here so far, but you're going to need to do one-on-one meetings with your team. Depending upon how your team is broken down, if it's in groups or pods, the leader of that needs to do one-on-one meetings. If you have a smaller firm where you as the owner can meet with your people, set aside a half an hour, again, get on Zoom, and give that person a chance to talk to you about what they're experiencing. They may not share everything in a group meeting that's really bothering them, that they're struggling with, but you want to be able to give them a chance for one-on-one discussions. And this stems from a concept called radical candor. There's a great book on this about just having very straightforward conversations with people. We'll put the link to that below below the video. You've got some spare time most likely, so it's a great book to read and really find stronger ways to connect with your team. So 3 ways that right now you can help your team get through this beyond tech tools like we've talked about, like Slack or Microsoft Teams. One, at least for the next couple weeks, as your team is getting used to working remote, have a daily stand-up, half hour, 15 minutes, where everybody can see each other on video conference and ask questions, and you can update them with what's going on. 2, have a weekly full team meeting that's about an hour where you can get a chance to share developments in the firm. Oftentimes these meetings are where the firm updates the whole team on revenue goals so they know how things are going. There's a lot of uncertainty right now as to what that looks like. So if they understand how many clients are coming in, that the firm's okay, it's a great time to share that. It's also a great time to praise people for the good work they're doing remote, and to discuss any specific case issues. This should not be more than an hour. This is just high level stuff that you can go over. Then the last group of meetings that you want to consider are one-on-ones, where you just meet with your team and give them a chance to talk to you. Again, communication is going to be key for everybody to get through this, and we want your team to be successful and as comfortable as possible. So the more time you invest in them right now, the stronger they're going to be coming out of this. Thank you.